Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Legaspi. Welcome to our constructive head drawing class. Thank you for joining me today, wherever you are. Um, so, today we're just going to talk a little bit about the class, introduce some topics in the class. I'll talk a little bit about myself, and we'll just share some ideas on the homework and how we can make the most out of the material and how you can make the most out of the homework. But before we begin, I'd like to, I'm just curious um, where you are watching from, where are you located, and what time is it for you? I know we have students from all over the world. I myself currently, I'm actually in Thailand right now, and it's Sunday morning for me. So comment in the chat room. Let me know where are you located and what time is it for you. I can. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, it does that. How's that? Does that help? No. Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Whoa, New Zealand. Hello. Oh my goodness, all over the place. Wow, welcome everyone. Chile. Ooh, that's far. We have in New Zealand. That's far. Wow. Welcome. I think yeah, it is. It's the hardware. It's this little box thing. I don't think I can fix it. I would have to. Yeah. Okay. And so what I want to do now is quickly introduce myself. So I've been a I've been a professional artist for many years now, over 15 years, and I also began teaching a few years ago, and I've wrote a few books now. And one of the biggest influences that I've had is Steve Houston, um, who is the instructor for this class. So I do know his material very well. When I was first learning about the realistic art and trying to become a professional, he was one of the first people that I sought after to help me to reach that next stage in life. You know, because I grew up in America, but I grew up in a small town in America, very far away from any major art center, and I had to, when I had to learn how to, when I became serious about art career, I had to go seek out the best people I could find, and Steve was definitely on the top of that list. So I just want to quickly show some of my work here. This is my little Instagram, Chris Legaspi _art, and this is I update this regularly. So what you're seeing here is some of my newer stuff. Currently, I work as a movie poster artist, so I draw concept sketches and concept art for movie posters, Hollywood films, and TV shows. And a lot of this stuff that I do is, or the stuff that you see here, this is more personal work. One of the things I'm very fortunate of is the career I ended up is is what I'm doing anyway. I always tell people, I would be drawing actors and actresses and famous people. I was doing that anyway, so now I get to do it for a living. So it's wonderful, and you can see there's a lot of realistic head drawing, which is what we're kind of learning and focused on. And why I want to show you this is that what we're learning today with the constructive head drawing in Steve's classes, and a lot of the what you will learn from the anime library in general is definitely applicable to professional work. I also paint and do color stuff as well. But my favorite thing to draw is realistic heads and faces, and I'm constantly drawing. Even if I wasn't working, I would be drawing in my sketchbook. A lot of these are sketchbook drawings here, and then let me. I also besides besides working, I also teach. I wrote a book. I wrote two books a few years ago. One of them is Life Drawing for Artists. So this is a guide to drawing the figure from life. Comment below if you have this book or if you heard of it. Has some good reviews. That's good. And so this talks about how to handle life drawing poses, which is a lot of what we're going to simulate today. A lot of the learning that I went through, the process that I went through, and what my students and what Steve and teachers like him and Glenn and the other teachers and new masters, we learn our craft through repetition, and the best way to get repetition is drawing from observation, and drawing the model is the ideal. So what we're going to do here online is to try to simulate that with time poses and things, which is part of the homework this week. So besides teaching, I also besides doing the professional work, I also teach. I also do teaching, writing articles, make videos, and I do a lot for anime. One of the things that I started doing recently for anime is to do more personalized coaching, personalized mentoring. We have a program now called Office Hours that you can participate in if you're enrolled in anime, and if you're in one of the classes now, like Steve's class here, you can join Office Hours and you can spend more time with me and get more personalized one-on-one attention. And these are like small group settings, so that's one of the things I enjoy. If you want to get a little bit more hands-on, where we go more into depth, and then you can really get a lot of personalized guidance and feedback on head drawing and on your work, and more specific things as well. Career, maybe things like that, where you'd like to end up. So we have that available here as well. So let's quickly talk about the program, or this class, the constructive head drawing. Let me go ahead and do some drawing while I talk. It might be more interesting than this. So I'm going to switch to my Photoshop now, and I'll do some drawing for you guys while we're here. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Those of you have the book. It's a very rewarding experience. It's a difficult thing to do, to write a book, but when it's finished, you you become a different person. Okay, so constructive head drawing really is the idea that complex things. When we want to draw complex things, we want to make it easy on ourselves, because we can't possibly match the beauty and complexity of nature. As realists, we're very limited. So um, when we want to begin the process of learning realism, drawing realistic heads and faces and figures and things, we first need to understand and see them as simplify them to their essence. And the most simple essence of things are lines, shapes, and then the more of these simplified geometric forms, construction forms. That's where the term comes from, construction. So when you hear that, it refers to geometric forms and using them to draw and represent realistic things. So we know that lines are our first way to communicate, and then we can combine lines to make these ideas. So these are shapes. They're basically kind of closed lines in a way. And then these are what become, we can change and manipulate, expand, shrink, widen, grow. We can even combine them to make all sorts of various combinations of shape. And then the next logical transition is what we're going to talk about in this class is construction. And construction generally refers to this idea where we turn our 2D shapes, our 2D flat things into the impression or the idea of more curved, three-dimensional things that have form and volume. So our squares and rectangles become cubes and boxes. Our triangles become pyramids and cones. Our circles can become eggs, ovals. And obviously, probably you've drawn heads before. You know how useful this shape is: the sphere, the egg, the ellipse. In 2D, it's the ellipse. Then we evolve it into a three-dimensional thing: a sphere, an egg, a ball. So this is, in essence, when you hear the term construction, this is in essence the philosophical or the methodology behind it. We use the most basic things to create the illusion of complex things. Even this idea, so let's just say 3D or three-dimensional, even this idea is a suggestion. So that's the key word too to keep in mind as you go through this class, is the idea of suggestion, because we can never we can't because we're practicing drawing, we can't literally sculpt a head or a human being. So we have to suggest the idea of a three-dimensional thing in the round. And we do that because, we have the limitation, right? Paper is flat. Paper is flat. It's flat, So that means we have to, in essence, it's an illusion. We have to trick the people who look at our drawings that, no, this thing is in the round. It is coming off the paper. That's the end goal, really, for me, is to have a drawing that looks like it's about to jump off the paper. Or if you have if you draw a beautiful portrait, when it looks like it's about to talk or it's looking at you, that is a really high accomplishment in my mind. And we all want that. And I'm sure every one of you watching wants our portraits and our faces to come to life. So one way we do that is with this construction, this idea of suggesting three-dimensional thing, specifically heads in this case, and also we won't do figures, but we also want to um, what, uh, suggest the neck and shoulders, because that's a part of that's a that's a part of head drawing, realistic head drawing, and we'll cover that in this class. And one way we do suggestion and this is something that Steve is very good at um, describing, and something that really impacted me is the idea of what he calls the idea of structure. Comment below if any of you have taken any one of Steve's classes, or maybe you've taken one of his workshops, or maybe if you have his book. He also wrote a book. He has a concept called what he calls is a cross section, which is actually a geometric. It's a mathematical concept, and what that is, it's basically a line or a suggestion of a contour line that runs through an object. So if you take a sphere and you were to cut it in half, right, you slice it in half with a plane, what that line would look like would be something like this. It would look, hopefully, would look cleaner than my line, but something like that. And then you could do this way, of course. You can do it in any direction, but any line that cuts through a implied three-dimensional object will create a line that cuts through or is a cross section. So this is a way that we can imply or suggest three-dimensionality in an egg, for example, in a sphere, in a cylinder. We can cut right through it. We can create these little cross sections in a cylinder. When we draw cones, same thing. So this oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you guys for your comments there. And let's see, and of course the the box or the cube has unique properties because of perspective. But another way we can create the illusion of the three-dimensional form of a construction form is with the idea of drawing through. So we want to imagine, for example, if you're drawing a cube, imagine the back faces, almost like if it's invisible or transparent. And then when you draw your egg, or when you begin to draw a head, you want to turn a circle into a three-dimensional feeling egg. You do your cross section, but you don't stop where you can see it. You kind of want to practice this idea where you draw all the way through as if it were a transparent thing, and you want to describe the form behind it. Now, of course, the end drawing, you'll probably erase it and you'll never see it, and your audience or your portrait clients will never see that. But that is, in essence, it's a line that reinforces the philosophy and reinforces the practice, reinforces the mechanic, the idea, reinforces the process. And that's a part of, also part of the process, and why the homework we do a lot of time poses is we want that repetition, repetition, repetition. So a lot of what we do in this class is constant repetition, moving your hand over and over again. The way you'll see Steve draw you may have seen him draw before. He has this idea of many lines, many times. So he doesn't just, and you see, I draw exactly the same way. You know, when you draw a circle, you don't just go like that. You draw like this. You find it, you find it, you find it, you find it, you go over it. Now, you don't have to draw like this. You don't have to do it every time. But again, it's just a way to reinforce the idea that for me, when I draw like this, I'm reinforcing the idea that this is round, this is 3D, this is real, this is real, this is real. It has a backside, it's real, it's 3D. So I'm reinforcing in my mind that this is real, this is real. So it's just a way to reinforce the philosophy. Basically, it's a philosophical idea, obviously, but it has real world application. So we're going to be using a lot of 3D forms, and obviously the egg is the most valuable for us, or the in 2D it's an ellipse. What I'd like to do now is let's talk a little bit too about what we're going to be learning in this class. So this class, you're going to learn a constructive process. In week 1, we're going to talk a lot about the basic structures of the head, and like I just mentioned here, one of the basic structure that that captures the head or the face in general is a spherical thing, so an egg-like thing. And so that's how we begin. But when we want to evolve, we have to break up or add a little bit of complexity. And the second nature, the second structure that we going to imply or suggest or describe is the idea of the not of so we start with the head as a whole, and then we break it up into its second most useful units, which is the cranium, so the mass of your head, and then the face. So this can be accomplished many ways, and you'll see this when you go through the lesson. Many ways to accomplish this, but and maybe some of you drawing now have seen this idea of drawing the head or simplifying the head as two units, two construction units. A sphere, how you construct is up to you, but generally a big egg for the mass of your head. Basically, it's called the cranium. It's the thing where your brain is. So the most important organ in your head is the brain, but we can't, as artists, we don't draw the brain, right? But we need the mass of it, the skull, the cranium, and then the most important mass, and the one that we all know and see and appreciate, and we all want to draw right away, is the facial mass. Of course, Steve calls it the mask. MASK, and that's of course the obvious. That's the one that we draw and pay more attention to. But for this first week, we want to also start to be aware and respect the idea that the head has a big mass. So that's what we want, and of course, we want to, as we draw, we want to start to think about this, not just the face, but what's happening in the back of the skull, at least this first week. And then once we have our masses, the big cranium mass, the skull, and then the mass of the face. So we have our two most important construction forms. The next thing we want to consider are the smaller structural forms, and obviously the most important small forms or detail forms really are the features. I call them detail forms because they as you draw, you don't philosophically, like what this class is about is to learn to draw the big masses first, the big ideas, the big concepts, the big forms first, and then slowly work your way to the smaller detail forms. So although psychologically humans put a lot of weight on the eyes, the nose, the mouth, of course, because that's what we look at when we look at ourselves in the mirror and other human beings. But as an artist, you have to kind of train yourself to go, okay, yes, in the final product, the eyes, nose, and mouth are very important. But when we start our journey, when we start to draw and think about the head and begin our journey of drawing realistically, we have to kind of put those secondary or tertiary, right? Put those further down the process. But what we want is to indicate where these things are and where they belong, and the relationship to each other and the relationship to the whole. So this is one thing that we're going to cover this week, and I just want to quickly touch on it, and then we'll do a little drawing together, just to quickly practice this idea. So the concept that I like is indication, because again, in the beginning, you don't literally draw an eye. You don't start your drawing by spending 2 hours on an eye. You just want to draw the basic construction form, like we just said here, and then you want to say, okay, my eye is going to go here. My eye will go here. It's about this size at this position. And my nose will go here. My mouth will go here. So we want to indicate the features, and we want to begin with placement. So the placement is the most important thing, really, about features. And that's one of the things that we'll cover in week 1 in this class, and then progress over, because without good placement, you can spend 20 hours and draw the most beautiful eye that's, the most gorgeous eye that the world has ever seen. But if it's too low or too close or too small or in the wrong angle, it will not have the effect that you want. So when we indicate, the thing that we need to consider first is where the features lie on what's called the I don't want to say midpoint, but the center axis. So every form has a in geometry we call it bisect. If we cut a form in half, both vertically and horizontally, these lines are called vertical and horizontal axis. So let's say I have my little eggy thing here. If I cut it in half in the front, actually, that make more sense if I'm drawing it 3/4. Let's start small here. So I got my little eggy kind of thing here. So we're looking at the front. If I cut this form in half, this first shape that I drew, down the middle, right? And you don't have to be perfect. You just kind of guess if you're drawing straight on. This is called the vertical axis. And then as we draw, cut the form in half horizontally, this is the horizontal axis. So this is the beginning. I call them crosshairs. Crosshairs like when you're looking through a scope. This is the beginning of where we start to describe the smaller forms specifically in the facial mask, right? So we got our big forms, the skull and the face, and then the face. Now we're working our way down, and that's what we'll talk about this week. And that first begins by knowing where the vertical center and horizontal center of your facial mask is. And that's what these lines become. So let me turn this a little bit. So this is in perfect front view, we know. Let's look at perfect side view. Just draw a side view here. And then you'll see this form in the video in this week's lesson. So here, this is perfect side view. The vertical center of your face, right? I'll just quickly draw a nose there so you know what we're looking at. We can't see because it's the contour, right, of our form. But the horizontal center will be here. And horizontal center is important. Obviously, we know vertical center is important. Why? Because we know the nose will go here, the lips will go here, right? Eyebrows, your hairline, and things like that. But horizontal center is important for two reasons. One, because we know that the eyes will fall in horizontal center. And we'll talk about ways to place them as well on the horizontal axis. But we just know that, you know, they're going to fall here. And what I'm looking for when I place the eyes is the corner of the eye, and the tear duct, corner of the eye and the tear duct. So when you think about eyes, or when you look at a model, you know, okay, if the tear duct is here, I want to draw an imaginary line right through. So that's the easy way to find horizontal center. And if we carry horizontal center through, well, we're gonna stop here and do a little drawing together. The other reason why horizontal center for us is important is the next important step when we begin to draw the face, is that this will help us to find the ear. And Steve will cover this more in detail as well. But the ear is actually, in my opinion, it's arguably the most important feature, because the ear will help you to eventually, right, we start by drawing front view, 3/4, side view, the basic views. As we develop our skill, we eventually want to do this, right? We all want to be able to draw the head in any position, looking down, looking up. Comment below if you have a hard time with this head view. I think we all, this one or looking down, we all struggle. We all know 3/4 looking up is probably the most difficult position. But don't worry about that for now. I know that I know it's tough. I have to draw that head all the time. But the ear is really the most important feature when it comes to this as we go down. But remember, for today, the most important thing to remember is that your eyes fall on horizontal center, and horizontal center. Your ear, your ear falls on horizontal center. Specifically, the part where your ear touches your face. This little point is aligned with your eyes. So that little point right here is going to be your best friend as you go down your head drawing journey, and your eyes. So your eyes, corner of the eye, and the tear duct. And then obviously vertical center is where everything will be aligned vertically, specifically the nose, the eyebrows, and things like that, in the center of your lips as you move forward. But don't worry about that for now. I think now would be a good time for us to just quickly draw and sketch and do a warm up together. So if you guys would like to do a warm up with me, get your sketchbooks out or your um, polychromos if you have one sharpened in your paper. Polychromos is that pencil that Steve likes. It's an earth tone. And you don't have to use that. You can use pen. He also likes brush pen, whatever tool you have. Or if you're doing digital as well. And I'm going to take a quick little drink break if you guys don't mind. I'm going to mute myself here. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. Um, Hopefully you guys can hear the audio a little better now. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a little warm up together, and we're going to do 2 warm up exercises just to kind of get our hands in the groove here. And let me see if I can get a right little pencil going. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to draw just a warm up, just for fun, just to loosen up. We're going to draw our 3 basic shapes, which are circle, triangle, square. And we're just going to sketch different variations, different sizes, shapes, widths, lengths. So let's start with circle. Of course, for head drawing, circle is very useful. And you can follow along with me, and you could also just sketch on your own. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do some warm-up sketching of various circles, ellipses, various sizes and shapes. So let's see, just the basic. This one, maybe a wide one, maybe like a kind of a gumdroppy one, maybe one that's a little fat at the top, like a teardrop, a really long one, an angle one. So just play with it, have fun. It's total warm-up, just warming up your hand. See how many unique ellipse and circle variations you can make. Make a fat one, make a little one, make a big one, make a really long one. Oh, this is more fun on a sketchbook. Normally when I draw, I rotate my sketchbook. Wide one, practice a really wide one just for fun, just to practice. And let's fill a page. Let's fill a page of ellipses. You can draw a big one. Whoa, try to stretch your hand. Different angles. Let me try to draw a long, skinny one. Ew. Okay. Looks a little weird. How about a warpy one? Well, it's kind of fun. A little bit of a warpy beanbaggy. It's more suited for figure drawing, but whatever. We're just having fun here, just warming up. Let me try the long, skinny one again. Oh, how about long and tall and skinny, but with a big bottom? That's a weird ellipse. Okay, that's nice. How about the inverse? Tall, long, and skinny, but big on the top and little at the bottom, like a little teardrop or whatever. All right, that's kind of fun. Now let's do the same thing. Let's do a page of triangles just as a warm up. Oops. So let's just do a fun page of triangles. So a long one, wide one. Let's try a really wide one. Whoa, okay. Maybe a one with some curve in it. How about try to draw a perfect straight one, freehand. Oh, that's kind of fun. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Don't worry if you have a little gap. It's fine. It's just a warm up. Let's try to draw one with some curves to it. How about a long, tall, skinny one? You can play around with it. No pressure here. No one's going to see these. These aren't going to go on Instagram, so don't worry. How about tall, like a tall tower? Oh my God, my vertical is so bad. I'm gonna redeem myself. I rotate my canvas. Okay, that's better. Okay. Let's play with some curvy ones. This kind of curvy triangle. Steve calls this the sailboat shape. This is going to be Very useful for you in your head drawing journey. This is great for gesture practice. Believe it or not, the head has gesture, even though it's looks like it's static, but it's not. How about try to draw a straight side and a curved side? Oh, and a straight bottom. Oh, that's tough. How about start with a curve and then straight on one side? Oh, look at my straights, freehand straights. It's not looking good. Upside down and curvy. This is like a cartoon Joker face, you know, the Joker from Batman, with a pointy chin. A little angle one. All right, so that's a little page of triangles. Let's do one more of boxes or squares and rectangles. This is kind of fun. All right, let's do a warm-up page of squares and rectangles. And this is kind of fun because you can do symmetrical ones, even ones, sketchy ones. You can do, I believe the geometric term is parallelogram, where you draw a square, but the two sides converge or start to converge, and then two sides are parallel. That's kind of fun. Let's see. Practice a wide one. Oh my god, this is good to practice your. Have you guys seen this exercise before? Comment below. It's in the beginner's drawing. Try to draw a long line. It's kind of fun. It's a really good warm up. Oh my god, that's awful. I got to redeem myself again. That was an awful. There you go. I can draw straight, believe me, a little bit. Oh, that's kind of a fun shape. This is a skewed rectangle. There you go. How about a fat, curvy, like a bulging box or square? That's kind of fun. How about a bulgy rectangle? That's kind of fun. This kind of semi-curvy mark, semi-straight curve mark is very useful. Ooh, how about one that's curvy and skewed? Let's try that. Oh, it's kind of neat. Let's try a short one. Short, wide one. Oh, how about the reverse? Oh, that's kind of fun. Kind of fat at the bottom, wide at the bottom, skinny at the top, or reverse. I really like drawing these kind of squares for warm-up because you can play with the sides so much, and you can play with the corners. Let's see, one more. Okay, so that's a nice set of warm-ups. Let me take a little drink break here. Excuse me. Okay, how'd you guys do? Piece of cake, right? So the second part of the warm-up, this is going to be a little bit more challenging, but I think you guys can do it. And again, it's just a warm-up. We're just having fun here. We're just a bunch of artists talking about art and wanting to improve. Oh, I can see your chat here. Etienne and Vedant. You guys know my pain here. Trying to draw digital is... Trying to sketch like that digital is kind of a pain. It's not really meant for that. Okay, so anyway. So we did some warm-ups with our basics. Now we're going to do warm-ups. You guys ready for this? We're going to do our basic geometric form. Let's start with this circle is not that fun actually. Let's start with a cube. So let's do a page of cubes. And they can be any way you want. So I'm going to start with a long rectangular cube, just for fun. And you could draw um, just the planes that you can see, or if you're a little more advanced, or if you're um, very familiar with this exercise, you can also draw the back face, the invisible face. Remember, we want to start to become aware of the back faces. So you can draw through and really construct your cube as well. Let's see. You can try, just for fun, you can try to draw a straight one. Try to draw a straight line manually. It's kind of fun. Looks so ugly. Okay, so that's the last one of that. How about a curvy, like a chubby cube? I like chubby cubes. Remember those little curvy boxes we drew? So now we can draw a curvy cube. How about a curvy gumdrop cube? So these become useful when you start to draw various head types. How about a long, long, how about let's draw a wide one. Oh, just stretch my drawing hand. Oh, oh, that's kind of fun. How about let's play with a super perspective one? Oh, just for fun. Imagine we're trying to draw a vanishing point. Comment below if you are drawing perspective, drawing buildings or cars. Maybe some of you are really into, or maybe you've done the visual communication style drawing, the VisCom style drawing. That's a lot of fun, drawing freehand perspective forms. So I got a long one, I got a tall one, I got a straight one, I got a kind of fake perspective one. Ooh, how about a I'll do a fake 3-point perspective just for fun. You don't have to draw a perspective, it's just for fun. Here, try a downward one. Just to warm up, it's no big deal. And how about a bendy one? I like drawing little bendy cubes. So these are like Salvador Dali, surrealist cubes. My hometown, I grew up in the U.S., in America. My hometown is called St. Petersburg, Florida. And St. Petersburg, Florida has a Dali museum, Salvador Dali. Comment below if you are familiar with Salvador Dali. He is a surrealist, wonderful, highly skilled surrealist. He's surrealist, but he has incredible skill. And my hometown just luckily has the largest collection of Salvador Dali outside of Spain. So they had a gorgeous Salvador Dali museum, and as a kid, I tried to go there as often as I could, and I would just sit there and stare at his paintings. Wonderful surrealist painting. So whenever oh my goodness, Sue Sherpa, you've been there. Oh, well, lucky. Wow, I wish I could go there now. It'd be so much fun. And yeah, whenever I draw a bendy thing, I instantly think of Salvador Dali, the famous clock painting. Okay, so that's my page of warm-ups. How'd you guys do? Thank you for your comments here, everyone. Oh, wow. Dwayne says Dolly used to be in Ohio. I didn't know that. Oh, a lot of you guys are familiar with it. Okay. So, this is a fun warm up, and it's going to really apply to this week's lesson, which is the basic construction forms. So, this is something you can do before class or even after, before the homework. This is something fun to do in general um, when you begin your drawing session because it kind of gets you it gets your hand moving and also gets you thinking in three-dimensional forms, the construction forms. So let's talk about um, the vertical and horizontal center and the neck now. The thing that we're going to learn this week is the basic structures. So we know that our let's just say let's practice three-quarter. Now that we can draw a little bit of form, practice our three-quarter view here. And well, let's start with front view. So we know, so this is like our little egg in front view. We know that, oops. We know that the oh, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Photoshop will jump if you hit shift sometimes. So we know the vertical center helps us align features down the middle. We know that the nose, right, definitely going to be the nose. It's definitely going to be here. And the horizontal center helps us to find the eyes. So within this idea of the facial mask, so I'm going to draw this concept now on my, oh my goodness. Having a hard time with these arcs today, jeez. It's not my day. I'm on a new computer, and that's my excuse. This is my first time using, I got a brand new computer yesterday for this class, and first time using it. So that's my excuse why my arcs are so terrible today, so ugly. So we know that the vertical and horizontal center helps us to begin to place our most important secondary forms, which are the features. We know that the eyes are here, and then we know we follow the head back. We know that the ear will also be here, but don't worry so much about that today. We know just that the eyes and the ears are on horizontal center. Now, when we get to the face, so let's in front view, we need to know where to. We know where the eyes go, right? They're on horizontal center. But where does the eyebrows go, Chris? Where does the nose start and the nose end? Where does obviously the mouth? Where do we put the mouth? So these fall on the facial mask. These fall on there's many ways to think about this alignment, but one thing that helps us is what's called the rule of thirds. Rule of thirds. Comment below if you've heard this concept, rule of thirds. It's a very basic head drawing concept that states that if you divide the face, so remember we have two basic structures, skull and the face, facial mask. Steve calls it the mask, M-A-S-K, the mask, and the skull and the mask. The mask, if you divide that mask into three different even units, you will align the eyebrow, the bottom of the nose, and the bottom of the chin. So my units are quite ugly here. But let's pretend that I can draw perfectly mathematical units. So this unit, the beginning of your facial mask is your hairline. So unfortunately, if you're like me and your hairline is further back than it should be, it might trick you. But normally, believe me, 20 years ago, it was here. And so that's where this little mark is, the hairline. And from there, this little mark here is the bottom of your chin. So this we would call, what Steve calls the mask, M-A-S-K. The feature mask, facial mask. I call it the facial mass. So it's the mask. So if you divide this into 3 even units, one third, 3 even units. The first third will be the eyebrows, and more specifically, not the brow hair, and we're going a little bit ahead here, but not the brow hair, but the actual bone. The bone is what we draw in the beginning. Eventually, we draw the eyebrow hair, which is a detail, which comes much, much later. But it's the bone that we want. It's the bone. Because the bone is a very important structure. Obviously, the eyes are, most people would say the eyes are the most important feature, right? The windows to the soul. But in my opinion, what's more important than the eye, and specifically when we start a head drawing, is the actual bone, the eye socket. And the eye socket is a hole, but it's made up of very important specific bones. They're called orbital bones, but the most important one is the brow bone, the top one. So that's what we're doing here, the bone. So this first third, yes, the eyebrow does fall on the bone, but on some people, especially those who sculpt their eyes, like a lot of ladies who wear makeup and they can sculpt their eyes to do that. And some people's eyebrows also do that. They don't necessarily follow the bone. So we want to focus first on the bone. So that's the first third, our first measurement. And then if we go 1/3 down, we get the bottom of the nose. So that's where the bottom of the nose falls. And then one last third is the chin. And then if you want to know where the mouth is halfway between the bottom of the nose, bottom of the chin, halfway. You just basically take that measurement in half, and that will be the center of your mouth. So don't worry too much about this. I just want you to become familiar with this idea that the facial mask can be divided in these units, and also become aware that the facial mask begins here at the hairline, not here. So this is actually your skull, right? So this is the peak of your head is actually not your face. It's the peak of the skull. Remember, the skull is the big mass in the back that most people don't see, and as artists, usually we don't really draw them or consider them too much. So here, and the hairline doesn't have to be perfectly accurate when you're sketch in the beginning. So we're right now we're doing sort of what's called the lay-in or the construction drawing. It's basically a sketch that kind of gets us in the ballpark. So we don't have to be perfect with the hairline. We don't have to be perfect with the thirds. We're just kind of giving ourselves a general idea where it is. So hairline, all the way to the bottom of the chin. That's the unit. That's our facial mask. That's the facial mask. And then we divide that into 3 even units. And that'll help us to start to place our features, specifically the brow line, bottom of the nose. And then, of course, we can always go to the mouth too as well. But don't worry about that for now. I just want you to keep this in mind. And comment below if you have heard these concepts before. Facial mask, cranium. This is very, very fundamental head drawing theory. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. It does. It does. Yeah. And it's still we still use it today because it works so well and it's so effective, especially for when we begin to sketch the head. So that was that concept. Now let's talk about the neck, because one of the things that we're going to cover in this first lesson and moving forward as well is that the head is important, but the head is part of a unit, the body, right? The part of a unit, and what what the um, how the head is attached to the body via the neck. Obviously, it's how we relate the face that we want to draw to the rest of the body is through the neck. And I mean, yes, it's we're focused on the head, which for most people is just the face. But now we know better now. We also want to suggest we draw mostly the face. But we want to suggest the skull, the three-dimensional quality. But now we also want to be aware of the neck and the importance of the neck. So for us, that means that we need to start just like we start the head as a series of lines, shapes, and then construction forms or three-dimensional forms. We want to do the same thing. So the first thing that we need to know is where the neck starts and ends. And obviously on the body, the clear place the neck starts is the base of your neck, which is here in the middle. It's called the pit of the neck, which is the center of your clavicle bones. So if you're watching live, go ahead and put your finger on your pit of the neck, on your clavicles. Run your fingers along your clavicles and put your finger on the pit of the neck, and your voice will sound like mine probably. So this is the most important landmark on the neck. And in front view, obviously, it's just a straight line. And then the second is the point of the shoulder, which is basically the end of your collarbone. So go ahead, if you're watching at home, go ahead and follow your collarbone all the way to the end where your shoulder is. You might lose it. It's really long, actually. If you follow your clavicle, it's quite long. And then go ahead and touch the end of your clavicle. You might feel other bones too, like your arm bone, or there's a bone in the back of your body called the scapula. It ends in this area. So if you feel your clavicle, so that is roughly, right, clavicle is like this. So these points are roughly where the end of the neck is, the base of your neck is on the body. And then that comes to, if we follow the muscle, so follow that muscle now. So touch that muscle. You know that muscle that you like to be massaged when your neck is sore? It's called the trapezius. So this is the muscle that we all like massages in. So follow that all the way up and try to see where it ends. And it ends basically right behind your ear. In front view, we just kind of tuck it in a little bit behind the ear. And again, where exactly? Whoa, this guy's got a huge neck. That's not right. My guy looks like a MMA fighter now. Okay. So typically behind your ear in front view, like this guy here, it goes behind the jaw. So that's the two-dimensional attachment of your neck. It's basically this kind of shape. Now, when we want to draw the three-dimensional neck, comment below what would be a good three-dimensional construction form. to draw the neck? Should we use an egg? Should we use a box? Should we use a cone? I think you know the answer already. There's only one left, really. If you answered cylinder, of course, it's the cylinder. So when we want to evolve, and okay, I got the shape of my neck. Now I want to start to construct it. Maybe I want it to feel thick and round or muscular if you're drawing a muscular superhero character. Or maybe you're drawing a tall, long, beautiful model, and she has a long, beautiful, elegant neck, and you want it to feel long and elegant. How we do that is, obviously, we turn our simple neck. So there's the pit of the neck, the clavicle, the side, our trapezius, right? The massage muscles. So all we have to do is turn this into a tapering cylinder. Tapering means it gets smaller in one end and slightly bigger in the other end. Right? It kind of looks like a smokestack or a nuclear power plant, for lack of a better word. And it's basically just a matter of, remember we talked about drawing through and creating this idea of cross sections, like a three-dimensional cut through your imaginary suggested three-dimensional form. And then that becomes our three-dimensional construction form of our neck. And obviously it's very, very useful. And the neck is basically a thick cylinder. So this becomes a very useful form. We can use for almost any position and any almost any head type, any model. Obviously, there's some models who have thicker necks where you can't see their neck, but it's there. It's there, and it's generally this cylindrical form that we can use. Even in side view. Let's look at side view real quick. It's quite useful for us. And so let's draw the pit of the neck. Let's draw the clavicle. Let's draw your shoulder here. So in side view, when we want to get to the pit of the neck, there's a couple ways we can arrive there. One is we could do the gestural way, and Steve will cover this quite a bit. And in this essence, it's following the contour of the neck. That's one way. And that creates more of a gestural. And that means it's more about the relationship and the movement. So if you want the neck to feel like it's connected, like it's moving, like it has some motion to it, this would be a good option. The other way, I mean, it's more than two ways, obviously, but another effective way, let's say you want to describe the neck, anchor the neck to the torso, is to follow the curve of the skull. Follow the curve of the skull. Jesus. And then go down through follow the curve from the back of the skull through the face and then into the pit of the neck. And this creates more of a slightly convex idea, convex. And this is good for if you want to really make the neck feel thick. So this is truer to what the neck is, because most body parts don't concave like this. The neck especially doesn't do that. The neck actually bulges outwards quite thick here. So this is a more accurate or more naturalistic way to anchor your head, to start to draw the neck if you want more of a thicker feeling. But they're both valid. They both work. And then obviously in the back, we want to flow from the back of the skull. We can almost do a little S curve, and then where this ends, there's a bone back here called the seventh cervical vertebrae. But don't worry about that for now. Just remember that it sits. It flows into the upper torso, the back, and the spine, obviously, right? Because your spinal cord's here. But just remember that there is a flow, there's a rhythm, there's a natural flow from the back of the neck, a natural gesture line that leads you down. And you could also do the same thing as the front, do more of a concave idea, a more gestural idea as well. Just to quickly start, and then as you progress, you can add muscles and details and things. But this is the start of our drawing, the start of our neck. And then in side view, you don't really need to show the thickness. So you don't really need these cross sections in a perfect side view or profile view. But as you turn, obviously, then you will need, right? As you turn the head, as it turns either looking away or starts to look towards you, that's when you know that you will start to need to consider the thickness of it. But again, so skipping ahead a little bit, I just want to kind of give you a preview of what's to come, and just to reinforce the importance that yes, we want to draw the head, but the head um, the head the head doesn't float in space. The neck, in essence, is a part of the process. That's something to keep in mind. Although we can draw floating heads in space, it's fine. It doesn't look too bad. But you know, as we progress and we want to develop our ideas, we definitely want to start to consider the neck, and specifically how it flows and attaches to the body, because these lines, you know, they're really inseparable. These lines and these forms, these muscles, obviously, are all part of the unit of the body, and you know, these muscles help us. You know, as we start to advance and practice drawing the head in various and strange and difficult positions, the shape of the neck will be very important to help us to communicate that when we get to those more advanced positions. So while we got, let me take a quick little bathroom break now, and then when we come back, we'll do a little bit more sketching together. in here? Oh, right. These guys are funny. So we got 10, 20. Let's see. So we did the neck. I'm going to talk about the homework. I wonder if I should show. I'm trying to think if I should show them an old master example. Yeah, I'm thinking of Dean Cornwell. Let's quickly do that. Let me see here. Oops. Where is it? I can't see it now. Oh, the browser's not open. How are you seeing that? That's weird. Oh, it's still image. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't have any browser. Let me open one real quick. All right, got a new browser here. So Firefox. So weird. Oh, I see it. I saw it. Firefox. You're close to it. Go down a little bit. Up. Is that it? Yeah. And me, oh my God, it's in Thai. Okay, I'm ready. You can go live now. Oh, we are live. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, one of the things that I really admire about Steve is that he always is references history, and he always references what came before us, work of previous masters. And I just want to quickly show one of my favorite artists is Dean Cornwell. Comment below if you have heard of him or maybe have one of his books. He's a Golden Age American illustrator, and he has this wonderful way of drawing sculptural heads and faces. I've always admired that. You can see the example here, and look at how. Remember we talked about horizontal center. Look at how the corner of the eye here lines up beautifully with the ear. So that's really nice. And then you can kind of see a little bit of the rule of thirds being applied here. Can't see his hairline, but there's a little mark right here that I can see that shows he's indicating to himself a hairline. So hairline, brow, bottom of the nose here, and you can't see his chin, obviously. Oh, here's some nice drawings. And really beautiful sculptural quality here. Again, you can see the center line, the eye line here leads nicely to the ear. You can see that flow there. And then you can see a little bit of his chin flows nicely down to his pit of the neck. You can't see it because of the shirt collar, but you can see that line. See that beautiful line? That's all it takes for you to know that this is a neck. Sometimes that's all it takes is a little bit of suggestion. See if there's any more examples. Oh, here's a. It's a little small, but see. Oh, here's a nice one. Yes, this one has a oh, okay. All right, perfect. This one has a beautiful, beautiful neck. You can see it has both the concave idea and also the convex idea. And the concave, you see how it flows from the little tippy point of his beard. You see that nice line that goes to the pit of the neck, and then the back of the head. All it takes is little suggestion, a little mark, and boom, that's all we need. And it flows even through clothing. You can see that this line continues to the corner, the point of the shoulder here. So that's just a quick look at one of my favorite artists. As you go through the lesson, Steve will refer back to many wonderful old masters, so that you could see that none of this stuff is new. I didn't invent this. Steve didn't invent this. This is stuff that's been handed down for quite a long time, and it's passed on because it works. It works so well, and this is great. And if you like this kind of stuff, going more in depth into history, more in depth into nuances, more in depth into things like anatomy and different structures. That's a lot of the stuff that we will talk about in after hours, and that we can go into in the after hours. Is that right, Peter? Office hours. Yeah, sorry. In the office hours. So starting next week, we'll have our first office hours, so we can talk more about. Oh, Chris, I saw the neck of this master. Oh, Chris, I have a question about how do you line up the ear, and things like that. So we go really into detail on these finer points, and also cover your specific challenges. So if you're interested in that, and you're enjoying our discussion so far, we'll go more into this as well every week in office hours. So make sure to, if you haven't already, make sure to take a look at that option there as part of this class. Let's see. I think what would be good now is if we do some sketching together. So we'll close this session with some sketching. So I'll go back to Photoshop here. Take a little drink too. Take a look at your chat here. Oh, I see some wonderful warm-ups. Someone mentioned Bill Perkins refers to Dean Cornwell. Yeah, he's a master composition. But I just love his heads too. They're so they feel like sculptures. That's what I love about them. Okay, anyway, so speaking of sculpture, let's I'm going to close my browser here, and let's draw together. So we're going to do another set of warm-up sketches. Well, actually, before we do that, let's quickly talk about the homework while we're here. So the homework, we're going to do a thing called time poses. So, and it's going to be 3-minute and 5-minute time poses. So this may be, if you're new to the idea of time poses, this could be a little intimidating. So comment below, or anyone, have you ever gone to a life drawing? So comment if you have been to a life drawing where they time the model. Comment below. Or maybe you've never done life drawing, you've never done time poses. Comment below. I want to know where you guys are at. time poses. So time poses. Oh, I see. Couple brand new. So time poses are a big part of this process. They are, and again, it's part of the tradition that's been handed down, part of the knowledge. And the reason why we do time poses is number one, for repetition, because we got to draw. We basically have to draw the same thing over and over and over again, right? We got to get our muscle and our mind connection and the muscle memory. So we need lots of repetition for the hand, but it also trains the mind. It trains the mind to only to focus on a specific thing, and more specifically, more importantly, is the essence. The essence, ESSENCE, or essential. So we all know that we can't possibly draw a face in 3 minutes. But what we can do is to think and look at our model, at our subject, and ask ourselves, okay, what is the essence of this? What is the most essential, most important thing that I need to communicate whatever I want to draw? So if I want to draw a head in front, a female head in front view, what do I need to capture that, to describe that, to create the impression, to start to begin the illusion of that? If I only have 3 minutes, what do I need? Obviously, you're not going to spend, oh, I only have 3 minutes, let me draw the most beautiful eye. Of course we're not going to do that. Now, of course, you're not going to do that. But that's if someone is new to the idea of time poses, someone is new to life drawing, they may feel, oh my God, I have to draw a full finished face in 3 minutes. They might get a little nervous, because they're thinking, oh, I have drawn faces before, and only the eye took me 3 hours. There's no way I'm going to finish a whole face in 3 minutes. So that's not the goal here. The goal is, again, for repetition, and to think and see, and then describe what's important, the essence. And I'll give you a spoiler alert. I'm going to give you a little spoiler here. We know, we already talked about what the essence is the shape and the major construction forms, right? Which we just sketched: eggs, cubes, boxes. So these are the first and most essential things that we want to get on our paper. So the first thing to keep in mind in a time pose is you don't have to worry about a full finished drawing at all. You basically want to practice what you'll learn in the lesson, which is basically how to see and draw construction shapes, the basic forms, right? The eggs, the cubes, the cylinders and things, and how to draw them in a way that's a little bit more characteristic of of the subject that you're drawing. And we want to also train our hand to draw them well. Obviously, part of the process is to have to make good marks and to make shapes that look good. In essence, are characteristic of the subject that we want to draw. If we're drawing, let's say we're drawing the model, a yoni, a muscular superhero looking type character. We don't want to draw eggs that look like this. If we're drawing like a yoni, a superhero type, well, we don't want to draw little dainty little cubes like that, right? We want to make our initial essential and important marks and shapes to feel a little bit characteristic. So that will come that will come naturally as you draw and as you sketch. You'll start to see like, oh, okay, they have a kind of a thick blocky head, or oh, they have a long an elegant kind of feeling face, or oh, maybe they're a little bit angular, like like the Joker, or oh, maybe they're a little bit they have maybe a round or chubby face, See, maybe you want to do other characteristic forms, but that's the thing you want to focus on first, is to kind of train your eye to get an idea of the characteristic or the essence of who you're drawing, and that's way more important than the features at this stage. So that's really the goal of the time poses. So don't think you have to finish the drawing. Think of it as an exercise to train your hand, and then train your eye and your mind to see in a certain way, and to more importantly, to see the essential, the essence of who you're drawing, the essence of their form. And when you get to a time pose, right? Let's say in the homework we'll have 3-minute time pose, right? The idea is, oh my God, I only got 3 minutes. Okay, the timer is set, go. Oh, I gotta draw a face. Oh my God. Oh, I gotta get the perfect nose. I gotta draw the perfect ear. Oh no, wait. The corner of my mouth is wrong. I gotta draw it quickly. So the idea is not to draw quickly. If you think, oh, I only had 3 minutes, that means I gotta draw a full face in 3 minutes, so I gotta draw quickly. No, that's not what we do. What we want to draw. If I'm doing a time pose and say, oh, I only got 3 minutes to draw a face, this is the pace I'm going to draw. That's exactly how I would approach a 3-minute time pose. Slowly, carefully, and slowly. And I would advise too, in the beginning, to not even make a mark at all. You notice when I started, I just stop and take a moment to breathe and to think. If I have my reference and the timer starts, I'm just going to spend the first 10, 20, 30 seconds to just absorb what I'm looking at, and to center myself. Breathing is a great practice, obviously. And just kind of look. I look and appreciate. I don't even touch my paper. I just kind of look and appreciate at who I'm drawing. Kind of get a sense for their face. Like, oh, okay, they have a bit of a squarish face, or oh, they have a long face. That's nice. Or oh, I noticed their chin is pointy. Or oh, they have really strong cheekbones. Just kind of absorb everything that I feel. And your first instinct is quite important. That's something that I develop, and that something that I try to impart onto students, is to kind of trust your first gut reaction, your first instinct. So you want to, and time poses is a great way to develop that. So take a moment, absorb the model, breathe, center yourself, and start to appreciate the fact that you're drawing, because we're all here because we love drawing and it's fun. We want to really be grounded. Take a moment and notice, I really don't care how much I get done. And that's another thing too. If you're brand new, your instinct is to be like, oh, I gotta get everything done. Oh my God, I have to have something to show on Instagram. I have to. No, you can't. You don't need to do that. We want to slow. It's not about Instagram. It's not about a finished drawing. It's about you. It's about training your mind, training your hand, being centered, being present, being fully in your practice, in your process. So I probably have about a minute and a half left in my 3 minute, but that's okay. I know. Okay, well, Steve says I gotta get the beginning of my construction form, of my cubes and my eggs. Make sure that the curve of my facial mask looks good. All right, pretty happy with that curve, you know. And notice I don't try to get it right on the first time. I'm constantly searching. Steve calls this many lines, many times. Now you don't have to draw like this, but it's a way to kind of find the line. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. It doesn't have to be perfect now. It doesn't have to be perfect later. This is will be refined as you develop the drawing. But just find the line. Be present. Trust your instinct. Don't worry about getting it done. If in 3 minutes, probably if that we had a timer, I would be almost out of time. If in 3 minutes this is all I get done, and it looks, it's well drawn, meaning the marks look good, the marks make sense, the marks have, you know, they have some confidence to them, they have some sureness to them, and the shape and what we've drawn so far, the construction form, kind of is characteristic a little bit of the model in some way. It's the beginning of our subject. That to me is a win. You know, the position is kind of there, the characteristic form of it is kind of there. That is a win. That would be a successful 3 minute time pose. So that's the main thing I want to get across, is that in time poses you don't have to um, you don't have to finish. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to do a pretty drawing. That's and that even for me, that's something I constantly have to remind myself. Okay, this. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to look good. It doesn't have to be Instagram worthy or Facebook worthy. This is for me. This is my time to practice and develop my skill, and to appreciate the process. That's why we're here. We're here because we want to learn a complex thing. Realistic head drawing is arguably the most complex thing that you can do as a realist artist. So it takes time, and in that time we want to really enjoy our time learning this thing and be present. So I think it would be fun for us to do a couple um, another draw. Let's draw together. Let's do a little warm up and kind of. Um, we're not going to set a timer, but I want us to be mindful of our marks and not worry so much about drawing the perfect. So we're going to draw. Let's do a page of eggs, and this time we're going to make them three-dimensional by adding the cross section that goes across the front of your face, so in essence vertical center, and then a cross section that cuts through the center of your face horizontally, so essentially horizontal center. And then also we're going to suggest or put little marks at the hairline, the brow line, the bottom of the nose, and then kind of hint at the bottom of the chin. So just put these little dash marks. That's all we need. And they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be right. But what I want is for us to be thoughtful. So let's do a page of very thoughtful, and this time slow, and present. So let's take a moment to breathe and be centered. Okay. So a page of eggs with our cross sections, and they could be any shape that you want, any characteristic. I'm going to start with a wide, like a spaceship looking egg. I guess this would be like if Cartman, South Park Cartman character, was a real person. It would look something like that. And you know, no, I'm not rushing to make the perfect egg. You know, notice I'm taking my time, being very present, trying to make good quality marks, trying to make good quality light marks. I'm not succeeding very, very much, but that's okay. All right, so it's a pretty nice characteristic egg. Now I'm going to try to do vertical center. And I'm going to have my little egg kind of looking this to the right. Yeah, to the right. So I'm going to try to make a vertical little section. Now it looks like a real plastic Easter egg that you do the Easter egg hunt for. It's filled with candy or whatever. All right, and I'm pretty happy with that. It's a nice characteristic mark. Right, it kind of cuts through. It goes from the top to the bottom. That's nice. Now horizontally, it's going to be longer, a little bit more difficult. That's okay. And again, try to make it pretty accurate. I don't want to say perfect, but try to get close. I think of myself sometimes like this is more of a painter's term, but think of yourself you're a rifle, and your mark is a shot or an arrow. So you want to try to get it make a mark like a shot of an arrow. But for us, we can go over and over and over again. Then let's do my little indications of where the hairline would be. The bottom of the chin might go there, and then I know that the thirds go something along there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a guess. It's just to get me to thinking, okay, eventually I have to place these things. So that's my first little warm-up sketch. I'll try another one. Oh, sure. Oh, that's a great question. So, Etienne asked a great question. What do you do if you finish a little bit early? Um, um, well, uh, in the homework as well, it suggests this is not to add more. Um, what I would personally do is to refine what I have and try to get it as characteristic as possible. Meaning, try. Let's say you're doing the 5 minute version, the 5 minute time pose, and you get pretty far in 3 minutes. Some of you are probably advanced. So what I would do is then try to refine what I have. Say, okay, I have the jawline, of my little construction form, or this contour of the side of your face. I want to get it to the perfect angle first. How's that angle? Oh, does that look good? And then once I get the angle, get the nature, meaning does it bend way up here, or does it bend down here? So try to really refine what you have. And then also too, in the longer poses, especially if you're more advanced, you're going to be, and Steve covers this in the lesson, is the ear. So remember, the ear is our friend. So I want you to really refine the ear placement. So that will be a thing that constantly needs refinement. And specifically, one thing that needs refinement is the distance of the ear from the face. So we won't be doing too much of the planar idea, so the front of the face, side of the face, but try to gauge where your ear is relative to this exact center of your face, or if you have time, to the ear from the corner of your eye. So this distance is a distance that's super important, and it will be, your whole lifetime, your whole career of drawing, you will need to get this right. So you'll constantly be working on that distance. So that's a great question. So refine the shape that you have, refine the height and the width, and then start to refine the placement of the things. And in my opinion, the most important thing you need to place correctly once you get vertical and horizontal center is the ear. So that's a great. Mm. Oh. Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. So if you finish and I'm trying to think. I don't want you to go too far ahead. And I believe I have seen ETN's some of ETN's drawings. He's uh, he's pretty advanced. I believe if I have the right person. Um, yeah. So if it let's say if you are in this class and you are advanced, and a lot of these concepts are familiar. What I would do, I think, for the first week is to practice difficult angles. So let's say you finish the assignment and you want to keep drawing and practice. Try to practice these angles, the looking up, looking down, and then all the variations of looking up, looking down, and then practice where the head is looking away. So you have to draw more of the skull. That is tricky too. That's something a lot of artists don't practice, including me. Is these angles. So that's something I would do for the advanced folks, and I know there's a lot of you in here. Is because these you're always going to mess up. Everybody messes up the looking ups, looking downs, and looking aways. So this would be a great opportunity for that. Is to do more of the difficult angles. That's what I call them, the difficult positions. And I think that would be really good for this week. Because I don't want you to get, I don't want you to go into the, because in the later lessons, later weeks, we're gonna start to sculpt and go into the secondary planes, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, sculpting the smaller planes. So yeah, if you're advanced, I think doing and you have more time, doing a set of as difficult and tricky positions as possible would be great. Okay, good. So I'm just going to keep drawing here. We have about 5 minutes left. I just want to, for those who are still might be intimidated by um, the time pose, and it's totally understandable. I just want to show you that it's not about the finish. It's not about getting it done in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's about quality practice. So we got a little vertical egg here. You know what? The model, their chin is a little bit smaller than the. It feels smaller than the top. So I'm going to refine my egg while I'm here at this stage. Oh, it looks pretty good. And you know what? They have a really big facial. They have a small facial mask relative to their skull. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to really make my skull mass kind of bigger. All right, I'm pretty happy with that characteristically. And they're looking to the right a little bit. So I'm going to make sure that my center vertical axis. Oh, and okay, so that I'm not happy with. This should be a bit more curved. So I'm going to try that again. I'm going to rotate. So difficult for me. Ah, there you go. I'm pretty happy with that. And then I noticed that their chin, once it gets past their mouth, their lower lip, it kind of dips inward. They have a little bit of a small chin, almost like a youthful face structure. So I'm going to make sure that my center line curves inward, and they have same thing on the top. Their forehead kind of slopes backward. All right. So you see, probably a minute has gone by, and this is all I have. But again, to me, that's a win. All right, what's next? Well, I should probably start to note the horizontal center because eventually I'd like to start practicing the ear. So I'm just going to kind of... I'm taking the moment to evaluate where I'm at. It feels a little high. Let me try again. No rush here. Oh, okay. Oh, that's better. All right. Now, what about the curve? Do I have enough curve? I feel like it should be a little bit more curvy. Okay. There you go. Oh, that looks pretty good. I like that. So again, no rush to get anywhere. Being fully present. Try to make as good marks as possible. Characteristic. All right. Let me practice my the rule of thirds. Start to place these features. All right. Where's the hairline going to be? I know. Oh, in the lesson, Steve talks about using the curve. This is a bit of a spoiler here, but if you follow the facial mask, starting at the jawline, it can help you lead, just kind of guide you to where the hairline to be. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right. So if I kind of, lightly sketch these flowing gesture lines, it can kind of help me get an idea of where the hairline is. So that looks pretty good. And now looking at the model, yeah, that looks pretty good. And now that I have my hairline, the curve of the forehead looks pretty good. Starting to look like my hairline. Going a little too far back here. And now, all right, I feel pretty good about that. I know the bottom of the chin is here. All right, so if I divide this in third, I don't need a ruler. I'm just gonna kind of guess. All right, so that's roughly where the brow bone is, the brow line. From there to there, I know I'm roughly kind of guess. I know this is where my eyes are. I'm roughly gonna guess the bottom of the nose there. That's my approximation. Let me take a moment to look. Oh, I'm out of time. Let's say, 3 minutes is up. You know what? If this is all I have, that is a win. I am happy with that. But if I have a 5 minute and I have a little more time, I go, okay, there. And then maybe I could start to play with the contour. Say, okay, how's my contour looking? Okay, looking a little refined. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's a good example of, I know we're doing just a light warm up, but I also want to show you what the process that I go through if I'm doing time poses. Very slow, very calm, very deliberate. So thank you guys. That's a little bit of a primer on the homework. I appreciate you joining me live for this first week. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And remember, next you're going to go through the lesson. Next week, we're going to review. I will critique your work. You're going to join me live, critique your work, and also the first hour will be the office hours, where we go a little bit more in depth on what we learned. We can go in depth in the head drawing, and we can also do more specific, individualized, one-on-one. Well, it'll be group setting, but more personalized to your needs. So let's say, oh, Chris, I'm working on a portrait commission, and I really need some feedback. Can you help me? So we can go into those more personalized topics as well, and that's going to be a big part of what we do the first hour, which would be all office hours. So if you like that idea, if you want more in-depth personalized coaching, and you want more in-depth feedback and go more in-depth in these topics of head drawing, definitely look into the office hours feature, and that's what we'll cover on the first hour starting next week. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I think it's a good stopping point. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I look forward to chatting with you more during the office hours and to review your work in our critiques as well. So thank you, guys. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.